朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的大宗商品，我是夏月，在纳斯达克向您问好。今日是5月2日星期二。从上个月的全球环境来看，叙利亚和朝鲜半岛的紧张局势升温，美国硬性经济数据不佳，令市场对特朗普再通胀政策持怀疑态度。外加法国首轮大选到月底的投票形势焦灼，令投资者在该月大部分时间都处在观望状态。昨日期金重挫至3周收盘新低，投资者担心美国经济增速在第二季度大幅反弹，油市下挫1%至3月28日以来的收盘新低。投资者对欧派克能否延续石油减产协议感到担忧。对此，让我们来连线芝加哥商交所交易员 Tim， 听听他的解析。Hi Tim, so gold held near 3-week lows, hitting the previous session on diminishing demand for safe haven. Investors were looking ahead to outcome of a 2-day U.S. Federal Reserve policy meeting and employment data that will indicate the speed of U.S. economic growth. So in your opinion, what kind of effects will this meeting have on the gold prices?
Yeah, I think the meeting will have no effect on gold unless there's some kind of change to the forecast, which I can't see. But I think gold really settled into a nice support level. That's just around $12.60 an ounce, and I think it's holding in there very nice. And this was after the huge run-up, I think, in a consolidation mode. But I do not think this Fed meeting is going to have any impact whatsoever this week on gold.
Thank you, Tim. So for the crude oil, the entire energy complex will be lower because of the bad data come out of China from previous session, which put pressure on the crude side. So what would you think the continuing momentum for the crude oil?
Yeah, from a fundamental perspective, I think gold's still very valid, and also on a technical perspective as well. So the bad data out of China, I think, is really, to me, non-eventful because I don't think anything's really changed. I mean, China was at a 6.9% rate. The forecast is for 6.5 to 6.7. So I don't think there's a whole lot to really change that view. And technically, gold had this huge run-up. I think you have the dollar, which looks to me as though it has topped out. Potentially topped out here. And I think the Fed, if anything, the forecast will be for the Fed to not raise as much as expected. And central banks, especially the ECB, are still have their pedal to the metal, so to speak. And I think that means that the fundamentals and technicals, I think, are both aligned. This is a consolidation in gold, and I would say between 1240 and 1260, it's a very good, I think, a good place to accumulate for a run up to at least 1350, in my view, sometime this summer.
Thank you, Tim. 以上就是今天的美国财经新闻。华尔街多媒体驻纳斯达克记者夏月报道。